I want to go to the Secretary of State of that beautiful state. In fact, won his election, overwhelmingly kind enough to join us. I'm talking about Brad Raffensperger, the Georgia Secretary of State. Secretary, congratulations. Good to have you on.
Thank you, Neil. Good morning.
On a couple of things, this contest now for the Senate, special election and all of that, runoff election, but it might be losing its own if indeed Nevada goes to the Democrats. Having said that, though, it hasn't stopped the money or interest coming in, has it?
Well, I know, and we're setting up. We've already prepared ballots, and that's what we're working on, getting ready. We'll probably have, it looks like, 7 days of early voting and then election day. And absentee ballot, our portal's up. People can request their absentee ballots right now.
You know, Secretary, I'm hearkening back to soon after 2020 when you took a lot of heat from President Trump at the time for not doing more to police the vote in Georgia that was rigged, that it was a failed voting system. It was you heard all that. I don't need to regurgitate it with you. You were proven right on both the accuracy and the details out of Georgia and handling all of that. And obviously record voting that we've seen, even with the heat you took for some new laws that went into effect that you heard Democrats say would lead to people who are ostracized and not be able to vote. Record numbers this year. Do you feel vindicated? Well,
I showed that we know how to run elections here in Georgia. We had an average wait time that got down to 2 minutes on election day. The check-in period was 47 seconds when you got to the front of the line. And so we just had a real smooth, almost, you could say, near flawless election. Only 7 out of our 2,700 precincts had to stay open past 7 due to some hiccup or hitch that they had earlier in the day. So yes, and we got our results up really quick. I declared that I had won my race by 10 o'clock. So we were posting our results very quickly. It was just a great election from our office all the way down to our 159 county election directors.
You know, Secretary, maybe a dumb question on my part, but why can't there be more uniformity on how we count ballots, early mail-in ballots, early voting? Because it does seem backwards to count the earliest votes last. I guess that's the way the system goes. Certainly not now Georgia, but how do we address that going forward?
Well, in Georgia, we've addressed it through the General Assembly. We have a verifiable paper ballot. We're part of ERIC, so we have clean and probably the cleanest voter rolls in the entire country. And now we have the ability to really pre-scan our ballots before Election Day, and then we sequester on Election Day any late-coming absentee ballots. But also, most people in Georgia want to vote in person. We have about 6 to 7% of the people. We have no excuse absentee voting, but most people want to vote in person. So we only have about 7% of the folks that are actually voting absentee. So all those things work together so we can get our post our results up very quickly.
How do you feel about that? I guess some people who, want to exercise their constitutional right, better to vote early, than not vote at all, even if the alternative was day of and you couldn't do that. And tens of millions of Americans have, I think, in excess of 40 million across the country, if I'm not mistaken, Secretary. But how do you feel that it has changed the complexion of voting? In states like Pennsylvania, where hundreds of thousands had voted before they even saw that Fetterman-Oz debate. But you know what I'm getting at here. Is it almost complicating our regular elections?
Well, we have 17 days of early voting here in Georgia. That's actually 7 more days than President Biden's home state of Delaware. But we give voters the choice. You can vote absentee, no excuse. You can vote 17 days of early voting, or you can vote on Election Day. But all those early votes that we had, those were all already pre-scanned. All you had to do is press the tabulation button, and then we could upload those results very quickly. And we showed we got the job done.
You did indeed. Secretary, I don't want to put you in the political corner here, but I'd be remiss if I didn't get your thoughts on Donald Trump maybe announcing another presidential run next week. What do you think of that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, if you look at this past results we just had, that Leader McConnell was right. That candidate quality is very important, and when you have good candidates, they win big. And I think the other thing, I think people are looking for character. Character is job one in this job. And then I think we're looking for competence, and we've shown getting our results posted so quickly that people are looking for government that works for them. Not for some politician, but they want to work for them. And that's what people are really saying. Hey, I'm hurting here. I got pocketbook issues. I got inflation. I got gas. What are you going to do for me? And that's what people need to focus on. What are we going to do for the people? So it's really about character. It's about, competence. And then also, I think conservatism has a winning message when you make sure it's supported with character and supported with competence.
All right, Secretary Raffensperger, again, congratulations. Very good seeing you again, and we'll see how this election goes on December 6th, again, to decide who will be the senator from Georgia.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.